人心没呢，那开下来是能就让他推开始着急来说嘛，但人心没呢，现在就单的每天的上的眼他下是没得去，但你做了就我们做不得吧，我们做不的他是做嘛的，上不休当呢做不得最重要吧，因为做不的个，做不的个才这里啊，你怕来点呢。
So in the
来点呢，看他你人心不是啊的，单中个人心不是个意思，是吧？单就这个就不就人个人心不意思有现的，你怕来的谁不需要来。
So in the 24th chapter, Nagarjuna anticipates objections from the realist Buddhist schools. The central point of their objections is that if there is no intrinsic reality, if there is no intrinsic existence and identity to things and events, then there is nothing. Therefore, there cannot be Four Noble Truths. If there are no Four Noble Truths, there cannot be the three jewels. If there are no three jewels, then there cannot be the path. Therefore, there cannot be anything. There cannot be a path to enlightenment. To which Nagarjuna responds, actually by turning, as it were, reversing the sort of criticism towards them. It's almost like turning the objections towards them by saying that, on the contrary, if things exist with intrinsic identity and intrinsic reality, then the consequences that you have charged to me would follow. You know, if things do possess intrinsic reality and objective reality and intrinsic reality, then they cannot be Four Noble Truths. You know, they cannot be causal processes. The cause cannot produce effect and so on. So the central message that comes from that chapter is to demonstrate that what Nagarjuna means by emptiness is not a mere nothingness, not a mere non-existence. His emptiness should be understood in terms of interdependent nature of reality, that things are devoid of independent existence. They possess dependent origination, and it is the very fact of their dependent nature that they are absent of independent existence.
这样的标记，他你家干的对的样，说的开不起，空给东北写着团写的东北团名东北的，是吧？东北写桥是啥的？东北写着团写，我说呀，他的老师啊，东北写着团写的，你搞了什么？大家知道，东北是团写的东北团名是吧？东北写桥的团写那边东北团嘛的意思，东北写着团写的东北团名东北的意思呀这，电中写着人性就准备团名就没错。其实懂得电中给咋段来过来眼吧呢？实际上呢，当中你每个都没这个事。
One of the sort of recent masters of Tibetan Buddhism, I think he was
Another
Amdo. I think he was around the turn of the century, sort of early 20th century Tibetan Amdo master. By the way, he's from the same native. He stated in a beautiful, he articulated this point in a beautiful verse. He said that empty here in this context does not mean the absence of functionality. And what then is the meaning of emptiness? It is the it is the emptiness of real existence or absolute existence. Dependently originated. Dependently originated does not entail intrinsic reality or intrinsic identity. What it does entail is a phenomenal reality, like illusion-like phenomenal reality.
땡중인 총 차버리.
So when you understand the meaning of emptiness and dependently originated, then you will be able to posit simultaneously within one locus the idea of emptiness and appearance without contradiction.
단 디베지 패서를 낭동 림베 차다타 나와다 동반이부터기 림바신도스 나의 메타세 동배 여타세야지 dum도 상관없어요. 낭동 림베 차다타 세월 좀더 근대장스 디탄이 세동도가 도드마와 디코네 규메레가 다다세요. 디돈 나의 여타세 동배 메타세야지 유자네 아니 랭크 상관로 세토요.
Similarly, the same master said that it is common to all philosophical schools to try to talk about, they try to sort of describe their own position as avoiding the extremes of absolutism by talking about some form of emptiness, and avoiding nihilism by talking about the level of phenomenal reality. But when you reverse that, it is only when you reverse the process that you will be able to overcome all forms of clinging. So that is the Madhyamaka Prasangika's position, of course. From the point of view of Madhyamaka Prasangika, it is the appearance that liberates the person from grasping onto absolutism. And it is the emptiness, once you understand the true meaning of emptiness, that liberates the person from falling into nihilism.
다들 되게 디슈소 랑주베 각자씩 해야 되다. 텐주베 각자씩 해야 돼. 캐주얼 있으니. 이 슈송아 되게 럽지. 디 근에 등교할 수 있는 로벨 링덴지. 아니 배신 더블 좀 해놔. 더블 좀 해. 아니 talking about 는 로벨 링덴 링이다. 슝그 나라리야. 거브리 마마와리야. 아니 견진나베 거다. 거브리 부드벌리다리야. 견진나베 거. 야, 아니 렁루디 근데 통과할 수 없나? 타냐도 랑생 해야 되지. 대야 아니 라지 탄연제지 참아디 랑산 나올 때디 아니 밀로지 못추어지 타임이야.
Earlier I spoke about there being a difference between even within the Madhyamaka school, two different understandings of the concept of emptiness. I spoke about how Madhyamaka Svatrantika's view differs from the Madhyamaka Prasangika's view. The basis for accepting this difference comes from Bhava Viveka's writing, where Bhava Viveka, one of the chief disciples of Nagarjuna, subjects the Buddhist realist schools to very critical examination and sort of argumentation. And at the same time, he also criticizes Buddhapalita's reading of Nagarjuna. So through these two different criticisms directed at two different schools, one can see that Bhava Viveka's position emerges from these critical processes. And the essence of his position is that although absolute existence is denied, but there is an acceptance of some form of intrinsic reality, some form of objective reality to things and events, which is totally rejected by the Madhyamaka Prasangika. So even among Madhyamaka Prasangika masters like Chandrakirti, so although both Chandrakirti, Buddhapalita and Bhava Viveka, these are great disciples of Nagarjuna, we see that there is a substantial philosophical difference in their understanding of Nagarjuna's philosophy of emptiness. And it's because of this difference, Tibetan sort of Buddhist scholars sort of understand that there is a true division within the Madhyamaka school and give them the label Madhyamaka Swatrantika school and the Prasangika school. One of the bases for such distinction is that there seems to be quite a big difference in their adoption of method as well. In the Madhyamaka Prasangika school, there's a much greater emphasis on using what is called the consequentialist style reasoning, which is more like kind of reductio absurdum,